Hello and welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We start with the Seven of Swords. Okay? Seven of Swords is a card that says we might want to pay attention to how we talk to ourselves. Okay? Because this could be an intention that we have. Okay? That central sword, that clarity, that truth that we feel, that we acknowledge inside. But when we try to move forward with it, there's something that's resisting it. Okay, it's like we're about to leave our quarters and there are these guards outside with their spears kind of saying, get back in there, okay? So there's some kind of mental resistance to something that you really believe right now. A truth that you know to be real, yet there's some doubt. There's some criticism, there's self-criticism, right? This could also be criticism from other people, okay? How much do we listen to the haters? How much do we let them in? Okay? To what degree do we change our behaviors or our beliefs or our values based on the opinions of other people? Okay, that's what Spirit's trying to highlight right now, this resistance that you need to have against the haters, and also to find out what your own internal resistance might be that's preventing you from going forward with something that you know to be true. Something that you believe, this central sword, this Ace of Swords path that you're on, it feels like it's our true north. Okay? And just because it's our true north doesn't mean that the path is easy. Okay? There will be, probably especially when you're following your true path, there will be resistance. There will be doubts in our own minds. There will be haters and instigators. There will be opinions. There will be negative, low vibrational energy coming in from others. It's a test of how much we really truly believe in what we're doing right now. That we're willing to resist. We're willing to block out all that noise. Stay connected to the signal, my friends, and block out the noise. Let's put this card into a little bit of context and let's see what is going on here. There we've got that Libra energy. Higher wisdom and discernment, okay? How much weight are you giving the haters versus how much weight are you giving your own truth and your own central sword in that clarity and that mission that you're on? What is the signal to noise ratio? Okay, for all my, engineering friends. Here's a 9 of Wands, the 2 of Cups, a 10 of Swords, and there's the star, that's your North Star. So this is where you're headed. You're headed to your North Star, but of course there's going to be challenges along the way. The road is not clear and smooth and easy. Okay? Here we have a 4 of Pentacles, a Princess of Cups, the 8 of Pentacles, and a 6 of Cups, earth, water, okay? Because of your steadfastness, because of your commitment and your patience and your steady persistence, you're going to experience a lot of bliss, a lot of pleasure. Okay, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with Tiny Bob Ross right on top. We're not going to look at that happy little card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below the video. Now, as we look around the room, we see two majors, right? The adjustment card and the star. What do you have to do to adjust your course so that you can be more aimed at your destiny, so that you could be more in tune with your true path, okay? What adjustments, what course corrections do you need to make to stay 0 degrees true north, even 1 degree off course? Over time, you're going to be really far away from where you're trying to get, okay? So it feels to me that this is about how much we alter our course based on the opinions of others, based on what the haters are saying, and how much we are able to stay on course despite our own doubts. See, the external criticism and the internal criticism are connected because other people can infect us with their low vibrational energies, right? With their doubts, their criticisms, and we start to think, God, maybe they're right. Maybe this isn't good. Maybe this is the wrong path. Maybe I'm not so good at this, blah, blah, blah. So we have to resist the outside energy. Then we also have to make sure that we stay true to that central path, that 0 degree, that true spiritual compass. That's that pure, clear channel, that signal from the divine in your life. Stay true to that and do whatever it takes to make those micro adjustments so that you can stay 0 degrees true north, okay? So we've got our majors. We've got some fire. We've got water, water, water. You've got air and air. And you got a couple of earth cards, okay? So your station right now, your kind of general situation now is one where you're trying to stay true to your belief. Something that you're holding on to this sword, right? Your Excalibur. Holding on to your mission, your purpose in life. And it's your belief, and it's your course, and it's your heading in life, your bearing. You're trying to stay on that straight and narrow path despite the criticism, the haters, instigators, and your own internal resistance, okay? That's kind of the name of the game. Doesn't matter what this is, at home, at work, at school, generally in life, your spiritual practice, your art, your creativity, your relationship, your love, it doesn't matter, okay? Your love life, whatever it is, okay? Trying to stay true to what you know to be real and important, okay? And trying to stay the course. The obstacle is, of course, making those decisions and understanding the decisions that you're making, okay? When you make changes in your life, when you decide between that thing over there and that thing over there, what's the basis for that decision? Who's deciding? Is it other people influencing you? And you're changing what you're doing because of the opinions of others? Okay? Your life is not a democracy, you know what I mean? It's not about what the majority of people in your life say is true. Well, that's what you're going to believe then. That's what you're going to do. No, I think that you have to be the absolute ruler of your life. And really, maybe the mystery card's going to be that emperor, you know. I feel like you need to understand how you're making your decisions. And you have to be able to, in real time, evaluate and judge and decide what course of action to take. Okay, with this adjustment card or the justice card, it is about judgment. And you are being judgmental. That's exactly what these two cards are. You're being judgmental. Not in a bad way. You're judging the relative value of everything that comes your way. Now, most of the time we do this unconsciously. Most of the time we do this and it's the voice of our parents or our friends or society or the opinions of others around us that are kind of making those value judgments. So this is really, the reading is trying to tell you that we need to make those judgments consciously. So we understand why we're making the choices we're making, okay? Because our choices are going to show us what we really value and what we don't value. Okay? What you give weight to, what you deem to be important and valuable in your life, you're going to make choices that are going to honor that. Okay? And right now it's important that we try to resist as much as possible the outside influence. Now, we don't want to be deaf to the opinions of others. We have to be able to hear the opinions, to hear the criticism, especially if it's constructive, okay, or if it's coming from loved ones that are really trying to give us their honest assessment of things. Sometimes they give us advice when we don't ask for it, but, maybe we could tolerate that. To be able to listen to the opinions of others, but not have to behave in a way that conforms to that opinion. Okay? If we're not fortified enough to listen and hear the opinions, but still make our own decisions, then maybe we got to block out the opinions, right? But in the ideal world, we'd be open to criticism. We'd be open to other opinions, and then we would still make a decision that we judged to be the very best for whatever our goals are. Okay? Whatever your destiny is, whatever this truth is that you believe. So being open to criticism, but still being in charge of how we're directing the ship. Okay? And this Libra energy is that value judgment in real time, being able to make higher wisdom and discernment decisions. Okay? Based on what holds the most weight for you in any given moment. Okay? Down beneath the surface, 9 of Wands, that inner strength. And right now, Spirit, the reading is trying to summon this inner strength. This is your backbone. This is your commitment. This is saying that you have made a promise to yourself about something in your life, which again is referring to that Ace of Swords. Because you have that Ace of Swords, you have to be strong enough to resist all of that low vibrational energy that's coming in to criticize you, all the haters and instigators. This is your strength to resist that. Okay? This is your resilience. When something tries to push you off course, you're able to bring yourself back to 0 degrees north. You're on a mission in life. You have a destiny. Okay? And right now, with this new moon energy, I feel like this is a time of releasing all of those. It's the time of really cutting away all of those negative influences. Okay? So to me, it's not really about listening to the criticism and then trying to try to stay the course anyway. To me, it feels like if they're not supporting you and if they're not encouraging you, then right now they don't need to be there. Okay, right now they're just interfering with that signal to noise ratio. Because the way I see it, with the new moon energy, it feels like it's kind of a narrowing of the psychic aperture, okay? And it seems to me that it's more difficult than usual for you to stay connected with the divine signal. And so it's naturally a time where there's going to be more noise than signal, okay? So we don't need the extra noise. We need to eliminate as much noise as possible because the signal seems like it's really faint. Does that make sense? So this is that strength, that commitment, that backbone, that willpower, that's saying I am concentrating on tuning into that signal and eliminating all the noise in my life right now. Okay? And maybe as the sort of moon waxes and we get toward the full moon, then we could be a little bit more relaxed about it. But right now I think is a time of discipline. Right now is a time of eliminating anything that is not supporting us in our mission right now, in our objectives, in our destiny, in what we have committed ourselves to. It doesn't matter what it is right now, okay? You're not somebody who takes their commitments lightly. When you commit to something, you stay the course. Now, you're flexible. Okay, this is not so rigid that, it's a little bit of a pushback and it's going to break. Okay, it's flexible, but it's firm. Okay, so I feel that you have the resolve, you have the commitment. That's saying even if things get a little choppy, a little turbulent, it feels like right now they're getting kind of, feel like there is some turbulence. The seven of swords and even the 10 of swords kind of showing a little bit of turbulence here in your life. I feel like you have this resolve and this inner strength that's going to allow you to kind of snap back right to the 0 degrees north. Okay, which really is kind of going this way, yeah. Making those course corrections as you need to continue to make wise choices that are going to lead you to the future that you've envisioned, okay? The 2 of Cups in the background. This is an urge to merge. This is love. Okay, this is the commitment. This is you really falling in love with something. And it could be romance, sure. I feel like this is you getting that kind of emotional, like, certainty about your path, about your destiny. You fell in love with something. It could be a person, could be a place, could be a thing, could be an idea. Okay? And it's now that urge to merge, like there is something in your heart that you know what your true north is. And this is your desire to unite with it and arrive there, okay? So we really see this kind of a very linear progression here. You've fallen in love with something, you're going to continue to pursue it and to travel in that direction despite the turbulence, despite the criticisms and the naysayers and the haters, so that you can fulfill that destiny and you can arrive in that future. Okay, that 2 of Cups is the awareness of that desire in you, that deep purpose, that commitment that you've made, and of course the strength to believe in this love and pursue this love despite the opposition. Okay, if you really truly feel that this is what you're meant to do, or who you're meant to be with, or what you're meant to create, or whatever you want to, whatever this is for you, you're going to have that strength. When you're connected with your purpose, this energy in you will rise to the occasion, and nothing can stop you. No, nothing can stop you but you. Okay? That's the 9. That's the strength, the strength of purpose, when you have that connection, when you believe in what you're doing and you know that it's your destiny and you're really in love with it and you feel that deeper connection, you have this infinite energy that just like comes out of nowhere. You take 2 people, you put them in a particular job. One person couldn't care less about the job. The other person loves it. They have a passion. They feel that's their destiny. That's what they're meant to do. Guess who's going to perform better? Guess who's going to really make more progress? Guess who's going to be able to endure more of the hardships of that job? 2 identical people, It's going to be the one that feels the sense of purpose there. Okay, so this strength comes from having that sense of meaning. Yeah. That desire to fulfill. Now, the 10 of Swords at the top here, to me that feels like there's an ending. It feels like it may be more than one ending. Okay, this is a birdcage. This is the realization that there are some things in your life right now that need to go. The new moon is a great time for purging. Okay, it's a great time for cutting away things that don't belong in your life anymore. Spirit wants you to identify those things in life that are still, that you're keeping around, even though they have no nourishment for you. It's a desiccated thing. It's a dry and desiccated relationship, or a habit or a belief even, right? Or a value or something like this. Or it's somebody's opinion that still is holding sway over your life, even though you realize that their opinion doesn't hold water, right? It's dry and desiccated. It's a dry hole. Spirit wants all of us to identify what these things are and start to dismantle some of them, because they are bars around us. They are creating the birdcage. Okay, this is the card of getting away from that, stepping through the bars of the birdcage. Anything that's kind of holding us back. This is the sun in Gemini. Becoming aware of anything in our life that is hindering our progress getting to our goal, whatever our goal is. This is your goal, your star, your destiny, okay? You could call it a goal, whatever you want. This is the awareness, the realization, shining a light, right? The sun in Gemini, shining a light on the bars of the birdcage. Understanding, realizing, acknowledging anything that's holding us back, gotta go. Okay? Spirit wants us to identify those things and to summon the strength to get rid of those things. To purge any of those things that are interfering, either with us hearing the signal, tuning into the signal of our destiny, to that spiritual connection, and anything that's preventing us from, from moving forward or trying to influence our decisions. Okay, because it really the main challenge for us right now is how we're making decisions, how we're navigating through life from our own core truth, or are we navigating through life under the influence of too many other opinions? Who's driving the boat, basically, right? Who's driving the boat? Now, in the future position, star card. This, to me, feels kind of like a distant goal. Sometimes it feels like our goal is way out there, right? A star, it's a little pinpoint of light in the night sky. It's way out there somewhere, you know? And I feel that sometimes it seems like that. Sometimes it seems like our goal is very far away. And, and this is kind of, some of that negative, low vibrational input from other people saying, it's a pipe dream. Your goal is so far away, you're never going to get there. No, not with people like you in my ear, So I feel that your fortification right now is what's going to see you through. It's kind of like, because it's the new moon, to me it feels like it's kind of a dark, scary forest kind of period of time where we can't really see the progress that we're making. We have to take it on faith. We have to trust in our spiritual GPS, when it's, maybe also when it is a new moon energy. It means the night sky is very dark, All you can see are stars. And the star is that constellation of energy that you're navigating by. You're finding your North Star, and that's how you're navigating. When it's a full moon, okay, and it's more illuminated, you have that psychic sense, you have that intuitive perception, and you can see things that are around you. You can see the cliffs and the swells of the ocean and the other boats and stuff. But when you're navigating by starlight, you're kind of taking it on faith, okay? And I think that's a very important aspect of this period of time in our lives. We have to trust that we're doing the right thing, that we're aiming in the right direction, we're heading down the right course. We have to have faith and hope and trust in that, okay? Until the psychic conditions improve, let's say, and the lunar light starts to wax, and the third eye starts to open again, and the aperture widens, and then we're able to take in more light, right? And we're able to see things more clearly. So right now it feels like there is a little bit of a darkness, and we have to continue forward on faith. And of course, faith and the Seven of Swords becomes the skepticism. Okay? And maybe it's a good idea to have both. to have some logic and some reasonable criticism, and to be able to kind of objectively look at what we're doing and think about it logically. But then also to have that faith and hope and trust. And maybe the Libra energy is a good mix, a good balance between skepticism and, and belief or faith. Yeah. I think faith is the certainty about something for which there is no certainty. Okay? And until we get to the goal, until we get a little closer to our star, we have to take it on faith. Until we have that direct experience of it, then it's not faith, then it's gnosis. Okay? Then it is true spiritual experience and knowledge of something. Okay? Whether this is your business, whether this is your romantic relationship in your love life, whether this is your creative pursuits or your spiritual practice, it first arises as the aspiration in your heart. And you have faith in that aspiration, and you trust in that aspiration, and you pursue that with all of your might, regardless of what may be called, quote unquote, your better judgment, right? And you're resisting the criticism. And you're skeptical, yes, okay? But you're pursuing your course nevertheless. And I think that this is the fulfillment of that pursuit, of that aspiration. Okay, I feel like this is going to be all the success. I feel like Spirit is promising you healing, health, renewal, prosperity, glory. Okay, I kind of feel like you're becoming the star. Yeah, path of the serpent now, your general energy is the Four of Pentacles. Consolidation of power. In a new moon type of energy, you're going to want to kind of lock the windows and close the doors, You're going to want to protect your energy. You're going to want to be very careful and very discerning about what you let in and what you expend, okay? So maybe even financially speaking, right now is a time for frugality, saving more than you're spending, at least keeping track of the income and the outgoing energies. Keep your ledger, right? Keep a good accounting of things so that nothing is like siphoning your energy away. Nothing is draining or stealing your energy or your time, your effort, your energy, your money, or your space. Okay? Protect that, because those are your resources: time, effort, energy, money, and space. That is your power. Those are your physical resources right now. Okay, so keep track of those. And don't let them, make good decisions, right? Use your higher wisdom and discernment. Everything that goes out, is that an expense or is that an investment? Anything that comes in, do I need it? Do I want it? Is this adding to my, to my power, my surplus, or is this something that's coming in that's gonna, it's going to infect the whole? Is this a bad apple that's coming in? It's going to spoil the whole bunch. I think not only does it have to do with, your financial resources and that sort of thing, but also protect your sacred space, protect your home, okay? In other words, your social interactions, okay? Right now it's about quality. It's about keeping your inner circle tight and not letting everybody just come in. It's like you're going to keep your door shut and locked, okay? If someone wants to come in, they can knock, and they can, they can announce themselves and that sort of thing. You're not obligated to let everybody just come and go as they please into your life right now. So I feel like you're kind of like, you're shutting things down a little bit, okay? It's a good time for that. Now, in the environment, in terms of your relationships even, we've got a Princess of Cups. The Princess of Cups is very easily swayed by the emotions around them, okay? This is somebody that is very, can be very caught up in the lunar tides, right? The fluctuation of the emotions can motivate behavior, okay? So this is water and earth here. This is emotion and behavior. So in other words, it's kind of going with our Four of of Pentacles here, and I think the reading is advising you to be very careful about who's trying to influence you, because right now we're very susceptible to emotional influence. I was going to say manipulation, but that might be a little too hardcore, right? So we can say a little bit of emotional influence. And we don't want to make choices just based on that, let's say, emotional pressure, okay, or anything really like that. We want to maintain our higher wisdom and discernment. We want to maintain a clear signal to spirit, or to our authentic self, or to the universe, or to the star, whatever, and use that clear signal to make higher wisdom and discernment choices, okay? This is not that. This is somebody that is making choices based on a whim. This is somebody that might get wrapped up in the emotions, the feelings of the moment, and might make some choices that later on we would regret. Now, we have to be very aware of this. Kind of like during the new moon, right? That's when the Princess of Cups really gets active, and so it's important to keep this energy in check, okay? And maybe it's more so during the full moon, but I feel like this is a card that's very susceptible to the lunar tides anyway. And it may be even saying that we're more susceptible to low energy now. And during the full moon, we're more susceptible to the high energy. Let's say during the new moon, prone to discouragement, prone to melancholy, prone to sadness or disappointment or depression, okay? And those emotions then can influence your choices and how you're driving the boat. You don't want to let the Princess of Cups drive the boat. I don't care if it's a new moon or a full moon or a waxing gibbous. You don't want to let her drive the car, okay? Because those emotions are going to fluctuate, okay? They're going to ebb and flow like the tides. And during the new moon, that tide is low. So be careful about things that might be kind of, bringing on a little bit of sadness or disappointment or melancholy into your life, okay? Don't make any decisions while you're in that kind of a mood, basically, yeah. Okay, 8 of Pentacles next, the prudence, the patience, okay? I think that's your saving grace. I think that this is putting a bit of a delay between your emotions and your behaviors. Here we have earth, water, and so it's emotion and it's actions, behaviors. So not letting the Princess of Cups drive the car is basically you're pausing, okay? Whatever you may feel like doing on an impulse or on a whim, you're going to put a little time in between. You're going to buffer that, okay? You're going to be patient. You're going to be prudent. You're going to choose not making any course corrections until you're able to, really tap into that clarity and make sure that it's a wise decision if you're making any kind of course corrections, okay? Because you're trying to keep your boat aiming 0 degrees north. And there's going to be a lot of things, other people, your own emotions, and since this card's in the environment, tells me that other people in your life are going to be very influential over your feelings right now, whether intentionally or not. And you don't want that emotional influence to steer the ship, okay? So the 8 of Pentacles is patience and prudence. It's an awareness that we need to be very attentive. We need to pay attention to the details. And, we don't want to do anything drastic. It's not about big moves right now. It's about little micro adjustments that are going to keep us on course. This is a garden. We're trying to cultivate it. So, if we get really emotional, we might say, well, my garden's not growing. It just needs a whole ton of water. Let me just dump gallons of water on it. Well, that's not a good idea. Or you may be feeling kind of disappointed and melancholy about it, and you may just say, well, you know what? I'm just going to dig the whole tree up and throw it away and start over. No. Don't do that either. This is little, tiny changes Okay? You're feeling a certain way. You're going to try to tap into your wisdom. And you're saying, well, maybe it needs more water. Maybe I'll do just a little bit more water and see how it responds. Okay? Little tiny, tiny adjustments rather than big, impulsive, emotionally driven changes all at once. It's kind of a little bit at a time. Now, we also were talking about that 10 of Swords, which is cutting off all of those kinds of influences, right? Well, you might be thinking, well, that's not very prudent. Yeah, but that's something that your wisdom needs to dictate to you also. If we can identify those things that are influencing us in this particular way, we can fortify ourselves against that. Okay? I think specifically the 10 of Swords is about those things in your life that have no nourishment at all for you. Okay? And I think that it is at least about temporarily cutting those things off. It doesn't mean it has to be a permanent kind of break, but it needs to at least be you protecting your aura, your energy, and fortifying yourself, maybe with the pentacles here, like literally taking a break from certain people, and just choosing not to really go hang out with certain people for a few days, that sort of thing, maybe, right? But to identify any of those things that have been really holding you back. Now, the 8 of Pentacles is in terms of how you're steering your ship. Micro adjustments, little tiny changes, whatever you're building in your life, whatever the garden is that you're cultivating. No big changes, okay? It's little movements, a little tiny extra bit of water, and then you see how it responds. If it responds favorably, well, then maybe you do a little bit more water tomorrow and you see how it responds then, right? What we're getting from all of this is pleasure, 6 of Cups, and this is bliss. That is community. That is harmony, okay? This is, to me, it feels like a real satisfaction in your life. It feels like you're also cultivating the right group of people around you. This is such harmony now, where it feels like it's easier for you to stay on your 0° north course. Okay? I think that as we get through this new moon energy, which I feel is usually it's about a week. It's about 3 or 4 days on either side of the actual new moon date, or the moment where it is, the exact precise moment. I feel like as we get through this, you're going to find your life and your being, your person, surrounded by more support. There's going to be a community of people around you, because I think that during this new moon period, you're sort of you're getting rid of a lot of those things that are not supportive. Okay? So then what you're left with is a group of people or a group of energies, pets, plants, people, that are very supportive of your goals. You're surrounded with people that are uplifting, that are encouraging. These are not the naysayers and the haters. These are the lovers. These are the yay-sayers. These are the people that are encouraging you to go after your goal and to stay the course and to continue doing what you believe in doing. Okay? You are the company you keep. You are the average of the people you surround yourself with. If you're surrounded by negative, low vibrational opinions and beliefs and the critics and the naysayers and the haters, that's going to be very difficult to deal with, because that will get in and it will infect you. Surrounding yourself with people that love you and support you and want the best for you, and they're there to, encourage you and lift you up and celebrate your wins with you, feels like you're part of a very positive community. And it's going to be much easier for you to stay the course. Okay? Let's look at our mystery card. The sun, right? We're traveling toward our star and we're arriving. I want this to be either the Empress, 10 of Pentacles, or the Sun card. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments below. Let's see. The Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles to me is kind of coming out of this new moon, almost hibernation. And on the one hand, being able to enjoy those things that we had to temporarily put a stop to, okay? Because nothing is permanent, nothing needs to be absolute here. So I think that it is, in a way, it's kind of you emerging from the solitude, the fortress of solitude here, and being able to re-engage with new things and exploring new ideas and getting a feel for what else is out there, okay? Meeting new people, exploring new pathways, new ideas, and being open to different choices and different options and that sort of thing, knowing that you have the clarity and the higher wisdom and discernment to choose which things to invest in. So if this is you saying, I'm not going to spend the money, I'm going to be more conservative and be more reserved, a little bit more frugal, this is you now, well, now you can be a little bit more relaxed with it. Now you can explore other things and you can try other investments because the signal to noise ratio has been adjusted now. Okay? Again, during the new moon, it feels like there's high noise, low signal. Okay? As we get closer to the full moon, there's going to be, high signal and low noise. And so you're going to be able to understand exactly what the right investments are going to be and all the right choices, and you can do more of those things. I feel like right now it's kind of about doing less, pulling your energy in and conserving that energy. Okay, whereas the Page of Pentacles is kind of out there looking for more investments, investing in other people and places and things and all that sort of stuff. This is that card of potential. Okay, to me this feels like the proof of your journey, the proof of your truth, and the righteousness of your path is going to be proven when you arrive there. You know what I mean? Like the proof of the pudding's in the tasting. And the outcome of your choices is going to prove the correctness, is going to prove the wisdom of those choices. Okay? You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. The proof is going to be in the result. The success that you're going to achieve is going to basically be like, hey, I told you that was the right choice. All of your decisions are going to be justified based on their outcomes. And that's how you're going to, I think, learn what your higher wisdom and discernment decisions and choices need to be because of the effects that they have. It's all karma. The choices you make now are going to have results. They're going to have consequences. Those consequences are going to tell you whether or not those choices were right or not. Okay? So you don't have to take anybody's word for it. You don't have to convince anybody or justify it to anybody. You're just saying, these are my choices, and depending on the outcome, I'm either right or wrong. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner here. There's a link in the video description. New readings are twice a week for every zodiac sign. Okay, so come back and watch your sign, watch your sun, moon, your rising signs. Check out the Patreon as well if you want to become a supporter over there at Patreon. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we are all in this together.